Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy English Spark channel. I'm so excited to see you here today. We're kicking off a brand new story series from Chapter 1, A Rocky Morning, through Chapter 10, New Beginnings, designed to sharpen your chatur English listening and speaking skills, boost your confidence, and help you speak more fluently than ever before. Let's get started and light up your English journey. Chapter 1, A Rocky Morning. I wake up to the sharp sting of sunlight on my face and a pounding in my head. My mouth tastes like old coffee, even though I didn't drink any. I sit up and press my hand to my forehead. It feels hot. My heart is beating fast and my stomach is doing somersaults. I close my eyes. Why do I feel so terrible? Then I remember, today is my 30th birthday. 30. The number echoes in my mind. 30 sounds so much older than 29. I pull the blanket over my head for a moment, hoping the world will go back to sleep, but it doesn't. I have to get up. I taught English online all morning yesterday, and after my last class, I met friends for a small celebration. We laughed and drank too much. I thought one glass of wine would be harmless. I was wrong. I roll out of bed and shuffle to the bathroom. I stare at my reflection, hair sticking up, eyes puffy, and a pale face. I splash cold water on my cheeks. It helps a little. I remember the two lists I have now. My old list, the one I wrote before I turned 30, still sits on my desk. Travel the world, write a best-selling book, buy a little house by the sea, quit smoking, drink less coffee and less wine, leave bad relationships behind, spend winters skiing. Instead of visiting family, I had big dreams. But then, 3 weeks ago, everything changed. I met someone new, Michael Reed. He is handsome, smart, and kind. He works at the art studio where I have a temporary job. I help with office tasks, answer phone calls, and handle deliveries. It is a short assignment, but I enjoy it because Michael makes it fun. Since I met him, I made a second list. Talk to Michael for longer than a minute. Impress him at work. Tell my fiancé, Jason, that we are over. Admit to Michael that I like him. Imagine a future with Michael. Go skiing together. Have a small family by the sea. I stare at that second list on my phone screen as I brush my teeth. My toothbrush scrapes against my teeth, and the mint flavor is too strong. I rinse and head back to my bedroom to find my clothes. I need to leave soon, or I will be late. I choose a simple blue dress and slip it on. Then I search for my shoes. I find one black heel under the bed and the matching shoe under the desk. At least they match today. I put them on quickly, wincing at the cold wood floor. I grab my handbag, my phone, and the birthday card I wrote for my mother. I planned to drop it at her house before work. I raced down the narrow stairs and burst into the kitchen. My roommate Claire is still asleep at the table, a half-empty coffee mug in her hand. I whisper, "Sorry, Claire. Birthday chaos." She opens one eye and smiles sleepily. "Happy birthday," she mumbles before nodding off again. I step outside, into the bright morning. The air is crisp with a hint of salt from the nearby sea. I hurry toward the bus stop. My heels click on the pavement. I check my watch. 8:15. The bus should be here any minute. When the bus arrives, I climb on and pay my fare. I sit by the window and look around. Everyone seems calm and organized. Me? I look like a mess. My hair is a tangle, my dress is wrinkled, and I feel like I might faint. I take a deep breath and remind myself, this is just the first chapter of my new life. At the art studio, I work for a small agency. Today is important because the studio director, Ms. Langford, asked me to help set up a big exhibition. I wanted to impress her and Michael. I hope I can get there before she leaves for her morning meeting. The bus rolls to a stop. I step off and walk quickly down the street. My stomach twists with nerves. I imagine Michael greeting me with that warm smile of his. My heart speeds up. I round the corner and see the studio doors. They are open. Good, but there is no one inside. Strange. I look at my phone. I must be at the wrong door. Panic rises in my chest. I check the address again. Yes, it is 24 Elm Street. I must have come to the old building by mistake. I turn and run across the square toward the new location. My heels slip on the cobblestones and I almost fall. I catch myself on a lamppost and take a moment to steady my breath. Inside the correct studio, I find Ms. Langford at her desk. She looks up, surprised. "You're late, Miss Carter." Her voice is calm, but I feel shame prick my cheeks. "I'm so sorry," I gasp. "There was traffic, and I went to the old building by mistake." She raises an eyebrow. "We start setting up now. Are you ready?" I nod and hurry to my station. I carry stacks of invitation cards to the table, arrange the name tags, and tidy the sample artworks. I feel every second of Michael's gaze on me. I want to turn around, but I keep my head down and work. When I finish, Ms. Langford glances at me. Not bad for a rocky morning. She gives a small smile. My heart swells. I look up and there he is, Michael, leaning against the wall, arms crossed, his usual easy smile on his face. He steps forward and hands me a fresh cup of coffee. "Here," he says softly. "You look like you need it." I take the cup with trembling hands. The warmth seeps into my fingers and then into my chest. I smile back at him, and for the first time today, I believe that maybe 30 can be the best year yet. Chapter 2. Unusual Family Ties. I step out of the gallery and close the door behind me, still holding the warm cup of coffee that Michael gave me. The morning air is crisp, and I tuck my dress close around me. Today is my birthday, but somehow I don't feel celebratory. I take a deep breath, trying to clear my head and check my phone. It's barely 10 o'clock. I have the whole day ahead. More time to think about my mistakes, more time to worry. Instead, I decide to visit my family. My best friend Lena always says that my parents are the perfect antidote to any bad mood. So I text her, "Coffee break? I might end up at my parents' place." She replies almost immediately, "On my way with flowers." 10 minutes later, a bright yellow van, painted with big daisies and the words, "Lena's Blooms," pulls up outside the gallery. Lena hops out, carrying a bouquet of wildflowers tied with twine. She's wearing paint-splattered jeans, a leather jacket, and a grin. "Happy birthday, Marissa," she calls, handing me the flowers. Their petals are the deep blues and purples of late summer, and they smell faintly of honey. "Thanks," I say, tucking them between the handles of my handbag. "Coffee?" "Absolutely," Lena says. "And then we'll go see your folks. Trust me, you need this." We climb into the van, and the engine hums to life. Lena flicks on the radio. A folk song drifts through the speakers as we drive away from the crowded streets into quieter neighborhoods. Houses give way to winding lanes lined with tall oaks and silver birches. Every so often, we pass a little farm or a pasture with sheep grazing in the sun. I lean my head against the seat and let the gentle motion soothe me. "You know," I say after a moment, "my parents live like they're in a different world." Lena nods. Serena and Forrest always did march to their own beat. And poor Oak, your brother, he gets teased at school for it. I smile at the memory of my brother, 5 years younger than me, with his dirt-streaked cheeks and that mop of red hair. He asked his teacher to call him Oak in pen and ink class when he was 8. The teacher looked confused, but Oak insisted, "Nature names make me happy." Now everyone at school calls him Oak. My parents loved it. I rolled my eyes back then, but now I admire their courage to be different. Soon we reach a long, winding driveway shaded by oaks. At the end sits a low stucco cottage covered in creeper vines. The windows are framed with hand-carved wooden shutters painted moss green. A small pond out front hosts a family of ducks, and wind chimes dangle from the porch roof, tinkling in the breeze. Lena parks and we step onto a flagstone walkway. I pause to adjust my shoes, then knock on the front door. A heavy plank of cedar with a brass knocker shaped like a dragonfly. The door swings open, and I'm greeted by my mother, Serena, barefoot and wearing a flowing skirt in shades of sunflower. Yellow. Her hair is twisted into a loose braid with tiny daisies woven through. "My darling Marissa," she exclaims, throwing her arms around me. She smells of lavender and something earthy I can't name. "Happy birthday!" My father, Forrest, emerges from the kitchen, brushing flour off his hands. He towers over us in faded jeans and a soft cotton shirt the color of olive leaves. His long gray hair is pulled back in a ponytail. He smiles, his blue-green eyes crinkling at the corners. "Happy birthday, my girl," he says, enveloping me in a bear hug. And then comes Oak, balancing on the porch railing. He's holding a potted fern almost as big as he is. "Happy birthday, Em," he says, grinning. The fern's fronds tickle my arm, and I laugh. Inside, the cottage is warm and bright. Potted plants line every windowsill, and pressed flowers hang in frames on the walls. A big wooden table in the center of the room is set for brunch. Homemade scones still warm from the oven, a bowl of berries, thick yogurt, and a carafe of fresh chamomile tea sweetened with honey. Serena motions for us to sit. "Eat, eat," she urges, piling scones onto my plate. "You must be starving after that morning dash." Lena sets her bouquet in a mason jar by the window, then pours tea for everyone. I take a sip. The warmth spreads through me like a hug. I close my eyes, savoring the moment. Over tea, my parents pepper me with questions. "Did you meet anyone interesting at the gallery?" my mother asks, her head tilted as if listening for a story. I glance at Lena, who winks. "Well, there. Is this new guy?" I admit. "He's the interim curator, Michael Reed." My father raises an eyebrow. "Ah, the handsome assistant," he teases. I flush. "He's not my assistant. He's mine, co-worker. And yes, he's very nice." They exchange knowing smiles, and I change the subject. "Tell me about you two. How's Rose, your goat?" Serena grins. "Oh, she's splendid. We've been making cheese again. Oak's been milking her every morning before school." Oak chimes in. "I made a flower collar for Rose today. She looked like a queen." Lena laughs. "Your family never stops. It's amazing." My father pours another cup of tea and looks at me with kind eyes. "Marissa, sometimes it's easy to get caught up in lists and deadlines. You turned 30 today. Big deal. But remember, life is about balance, creativity, love, family. All of it matters." I nod, thinking of my two lists, the one of grand ambitions and the one of hopeful possibilities with Michael. His words ring true. We spend the next hour wandering through their garden. My mother shows me her new herb spiral: rosemary, thyme, lavender, growing in concentric circles. Oak points out each type of bee buzzing from blossom to blossom. Lena kneels to photograph a ladybug crawling along a leaf. When we return to the porch, Serena hands me a small wooden box carved with leaf patterns. Inside, there's a silver locket engraved with a single oak leaf. "For you," she says, "to remind you that you belong, no matter where life takes you." I wrap my arms around her. My throat tightens with emotion. Here, in this little cottage by the woods, I feel safe. Different or not, my family loves me as I am. As the sun climbs higher, I realize my headache has eased. The weight in my chest has lifted. Maybe this unexpected birthday detour was exactly what I needed. I sip my tea and look out at the pond where the ducks glide in a perfect line. Laughing with Lena, my parents, and Oak, I understand that some of life's best moments aren't on any list. They happen in the small, unusual moments, like now in this cozy garden, surrounded by those who know me best. Chapter 3. Pots and Promises. I wake up in a soft bed on an old wooden floor. The morning light filters through lace curtains, and I stretch my arms over my head. My head still feels a little sleepy, but my heart feels lighter than yesterday. I sit up and notice something shining on the small table by the window, a bright handmade vase. My mother, Serena, must have left it here. It is covered in swirling colors: emerald green, sunset orange, and sky blue, all mixed together like a summer sunset reflected in water. I lift it gently. It feels warm in my hands, and I can see the faint fingerprints of the potter's wheel around the base. I remember the moment she gave it to me yesterday, after Lena and I helped in the garden. She held the vase up and said, "This is your life, my darling, bold, colorful, and always spinning." I had laughed at first, but now I understand what she meant. My life is changing, and I need color and movement, not just ticking items off a list. I carry the vase into the tiny kitchen and place it next to the wildflowers Lena picked. The table is set for breakfast: a loaf of crusty bread, a dish of soft goat cheese, a bowl of fresh raspberries, and a pitcher of orange blossom tea. My father, Forrest, stands at the stove, flipping pancakes one by one. He wears his green apron that says Forrest's Farm Kitchen across the front. "Good morning, Marissa," he says without turning around. The smell of sweet batter and melted butter fills the air. I take a deep breath and smile. "Good morning, Dad," I reply. I pour myself a cup of tea and sit at the table. The chair creaks under me, but I find it comforting. My brother, Oak, slides onto the bench with his sketchbook. He draws the steam rising from my tea before tucking the page away. Serena enters in a flowing skirt the color of ripe peaches. She carries a wooden board of sliced fruit, green kiwis, red strawberries, and golden pineapple. "Eat up," she says. "You'll need energy for today." I glance at the clock on the wall. It's nearly noon. I have a dinner meeting with Jason in a few hours. Jason is my fiancé, but I'm not sure I want to stay engaged. I still think about Michael, and the vase reminds me to follow my own path. I pour more tea and spread jam on a pancake. The sweetness wakes up my senses. I look at my parents as they talk about the garden, how the bees are lazy this morning, and how Oak's sunflowers are finally taller than he is. Their words are calm and kind, and I feel a warm glow inside. After breakfast, I help clear the dishes. I rinse each plate under cool water and hand them to my father. He stacks them neatly on the drying rack. "You're a great helper," he says, ruffling my hair. I tuck the last dish into the rack and step back. The morning sun is higher now, and I realize I want to rest before the evening. My feet are tired after yesterday's bus chase, and my head still feels a little foggy. "I'm going to lie down for a bit," I tell my family. They nod, understanding. I slip upstairs to the spare bedroom, once Michael's late aunt's guest room, and lie on the white quilt. I close my eyes and think about the old list of dreams and the new list of feelings. Travel the world, write a novel, buy a house by the sea, talk to Michael, be honest with Jason, follow my own heart. Slowly, I drift off to sleep. The soft breeze shifts the curtains, and the distant sound of the ducks in the pond lulls me deeper. My dreams are filled with bright colors and the spinning wheel of my life, just like the vase on the table. When I wake up, the room is dim and quiet. I sit up and rub my eyes. It is nearly 3 o'clock. My stomach growls. I stand and stretch, then head downstairs. In the kitchen, Lena is there with my mother. They taste test jam and laugh when a drop lands on Serena's skirt. Lena holds a small wooden box with a hand-carved lid. "Your mom told me to give this to you after your nap," she says, handing it over. I open the box and find a simple ceramic bowl, matcha green on the outside, pure white inside. It is glazed so smoothly that it feels like silk to the touch. "For your morning tea," Serena explains. "Remember that every day can start fresh, just like this bowl." I feel tears prick my eyes. "Thank you," I whisper. I hold the bowl close and smile at them both. "It's almost time to get ready," Lena says gently. "Dinner isn't." for another 2 hours, but you should plan what to wear. I nod and carry the bowl upstairs to my room. Inside my closet, I find a soft gray blouse and a pair of dark jeans, something simple and neat. I slip into them and look at my shoes. Yesterday, I nearly wore mismatched heels. Today, I choose comfortable flats in deep navy blue. They match my mood and feel right under my feet. I take one last look in the mirror. I tuck a strand of hair behind my ear and touch the wooden talisman necklace Lena made me. It has a tiny painted pot on it. I laugh softly. I look like me, a little messy but real. Downstairs, my parents wave me toward the front door. Oak gives me a thumbs up. "Good luck," he says. I step outside into the golden light of late afternoon. I carry the green bowl and the colorful vase in a tote bag. They jostle together, two promises I made, one to cherish color and creativity, the other to embrace each new day. As I lock the door and head toward the bus stop, I breathe deeply. My life may be full of questions and changes, but I have my pots and promises to guide me, and that feels enough for now. Chapter 4: Mixed Signals. I stand on the cobblestone sidewalk, my heart pounding. The evening air is cool, and the sky above Brighton is streaked with pink and gold. I check my watch. It's exactly 7 o'clock. Julian should have been here 5 minutes ago. My stomach twists. I step into the small bistro's glowing doorway. The walls inside are warm amber, lit by fairy lights draped over the ceiling beams. Soft jazz plays in the background. I scan the room. There's an empty table, for two by the window lit by a single candle. I slip into the chair, smoothing my gray blouse. My birthday vase and matcha bowl sit safely folded in my tote bag at my feet. I order water and glance at the menu without really reading it. My mind is on Jason. No, on Julian, my ex-fiancé. We broke up 2 months ago, but he insisted on meeting tonight to apologize and talk things through. I rehearsed my calm face in the mirror all afternoon, but now, alone in the restaurant, I feel any calm slipping away. A waiter arrives with a glass of water. "Is there any message for Mr. Harper?" I shake my head. "No, thank you. I'll wait." He nods politely and turns away. I cradle the glass in both hands, feeling its coolness. I remind myself, stay composed. You're here to end things properly. A few moments later, the bell over the door rings. I look up and see Olivia Trent, Michael's elegant girlfriend, glide in. She wears a black dress and high heels that click on the floor. Her hair is perfectly styled, and she carries herself with quiet confidence. She smiles at the host and slips into a booth near the back. My breath catches. What is she doing here? I glance at the empty table, but no one else follows her. My eyes flick back to the entrance. Then I see him, Julian. He stands by the door, tall in a navy suit, holding a bouquet of white tulips. His cheeks are flushed, nervous. He catches my eye, smiles sheepishly, and walks over. "Marissa," he says, placing the tulips gently on the table. His voice is soft. "Thank you for coming." I take in the flowers. They're beautiful. I force a smile. "Thank you for inviting me." He pulls out the chair across from me and sits. His suit jacket wrinkles slightly where he leans forward. He looks anxious, and I realize I feel anxious too. "The other day, I said things I shouldn't have," he begins. "I was upset about work, and I took it out on you. I'm sorry." I nod slowly. "I appreciate that, Julian. I'm glad you're sorry." My voice sounds steadier than I feel. He reaches across the table, but I keep my hands in my lap. "Marissa, I still love you. I'd like us to try again." My breath hitches. I look at the tulips. I think of Michael's coffee, the warmth of his smile. I think of Olivia, alone at the back. My throat tightens. I start. The waiter appears, refilling our glasses of water. I watch him leave. When he's gone, I exhale. "Julian, I'm flattered, but I'm not the same person I was when we first met. I've changed." Julian's face falls. "Changed how?" I fold my hands on the table. I realized I want different things now. I want to write my own story, not follow someone else's plan. I'm sorry, but I can't get back together. He looks down at the tulips, then back at me. I understand. I just needed to say it. He pulls out a small box from his pocket. My heart jumps. "I wanted to give you this." He places it on the table and opens it. A silver necklace with a tiny pen charm. I trace my finger over the charm. It's beautiful. "Thank you," I whisper. I tuck a strand of hair behind my ear. "It means a lot." Julian stands up. "Happy birthday, Marissa. I hope you find what you're looking for." He turns to leave. I watch him go, then focus on the necklace in my hand. It's delicate, with fine detail. I open my purse and carefully place it inside. I breathe out a shaky breath and lean back. Before I can settle, the restaurant door opens again. This time it's Michael. He stops at the entrance and scans the room. His eyes lock on me. He strides over, a worried look on his face. "Marissa? Are you all right?" His voice is low but urgent. His dark hair is slightly tousled, and he wears a charcoal blazer over a white shirt. He sets a cup of coffee on the table in front of me. My favorite, with just a dash of cream and 1 sugar. I blink, surprised. Michael, hi. My voice sounds small. He glances at Julian's empty chair and then at Julian himself, halfway to the exit. Michael's lips press into a thin line. He turns back to me, concern in his eyes. I saw you here through the window. I wanted to make sure you were okay. He looks at the tulips. And I brought coffee. His presence washes over me like a wave. The coffee steam curls under my nose. My heart pounds. I hadn't expected to see him tonight, especially with Julian here first. Michael hesitates. Then he gestures toward Julian. Do you need a moment alone? He asks softly. I look at Julian, who gives me a small, understanding nod before slipping out the door. As soon as he's gone, Michael sits down. He doesn't smile. Instead, he folds his hands on the table and leans forward. I'm sorry if this is awkward, he says. I didn't know you were meeting someone. He pauses, searching my face. Are you okay? I pick up the coffee cup and bring it to my lips. The warm liquid soothes me. I close my eyes and inhale the rich aroma. When I open them, Michael is still watching me. I gather my thoughts. I'm fine, I say finally. It's been a confusing day. I broke off an engagement. I let the words hang. And then Michael's girlfriend came in. I gestured toward Olivia, who is now standing at the bar, talking to the bartender. Michael follows my gaze. His jaw tightens. Then he looks back at me. Olivia? Here? I nod. I saw her first. She looked surprised to see me. Now she's talking to the bartender. I feel awkward. I didn't expect to see either of you here. Michael runs a hand through his hair. I wanted to check on you, but maybe I made it more complicated. He sighs. I'm sorry. I place my hand over his. You're not to blame, I say. It's just mixed signals everywhere. I smile faintly. It's like life is testing me. He meets my eyes, and I see both apology and something softer. Warmth, maybe relief. He presses my hand gently. Tell me what you need, he says. I'm here for you. I take a deep breath and let my tension ease. The restaurant lights feel warmer now. The jazz music seems hopeful. I reach into my bag and bring out the matcha bowl Serena gave me. I place it on the table between us. For a fresh start, I say quietly. Michael nods, a genuine smile curving, his lips for the first time tonight. To new beginnings, he echoes. I lift my coffee cup and clink it against his. The sound is soft but clear. In that moment, I realize the only signal I truly need is this one. My own steady heartbeat guiding me forward. Chapter 5. Public Embarrassment. I hadn't even finished my coffee when the lights in the bistro flickered, and in an instant the soft jazz cut out. A spotlight snapped on above the center table, illuminating the chair where I sat with Michael, across from me. My heart lurched. Then the waitstaff, every single one, erupted from the kitchens and side corridors, carrying plates of cupcakes and balloons. They formed a semicircle around us and launched into Happy Birthday at full volume. Hands clapped, voices rose, and a lone violinist from the corner joined in. I froze. The cupcake in the waiter's hand shook as he sang. The candle on top flickered. My cheeks heated. I pressed my palms to my ears as if sound could be blocked that way. I glanced at Michael. His eyebrows shot up, disbelief plastered across his face. "Marisa," one of the servers called out, beaming. Another tied a string of pastel balloons to the back of my chair. A waiter draped a sash around my shoulders that read, "30 and Thriving," in curling gold letters. I wanted to melt into the chair. I wanted to vanish through the floor into the cellar. Customers at neighboring tables turned their heads. Phones appeared in hands. Someone snapped a photo. My face burned hotter. Michael stood, his hand on my shoulder. "Are you okay?" he shouted over the singing. His voice was tense, protective, but it didn't stop. A waitress wheeled out a small trolley bearing a 3-tiered cake, bright blue icing with yellow stars, and set it before me. She held up a knife. "Make a wish," she cheered. I shook my head. I couldn't speak. Suddenly, the violinist changed tune and launched into an operatic flourish. The staff finished on a high note. For a moment, silence reigned, or as close as it gets, in a turning restaurant. Then applause. Everyone clapped and cheered. My napkin lay crumpled in my lap. I wiped at my eyes in case tears had escaped. Michael cleared his throat. He pushed my coffee closer. "Let me get you some water," he said quietly, and turned away. Swallowed, blinking to clear my vision. My phone buzzed. A text from Lena. "How's the surprise?" I wanted to punch the air. A young hostess approached and lowered her voice, though the restaurant still hummed around us. I'm so sorry. We didn't know you were here with someone else. We only saw your name on the reservation and thought—" Her cheeks were pink. It was meant as a nice thing? I forced a smile through my embarrassment. "I appreciate the thought. I said, voice tight. I looked down at the cake, at the sash, at my shaking hands. Really? It's okay. She nodded and scurried away. I turned back to Michael, who was pouring water into my glass. He set it on the table with a careful hand. I'm so sorry, he said, eyes full of sympathy. I held up a hand. No, this isn't your fault. I closed my eyes, took a breath, then let it out slowly. I know they meant well, but being 30 and thriving felt like a cruel joke right now. Being singled out like this, after the broken engagement, the awkward coffee with Michael, Olivia in the corner staring, was humiliating. I reached into my tote and pulled out the pen charm necklace Julian gave me. The tiny silver pen glinted in the restaurant light. I slipped it around my neck. Michael watched me with concern. Do you want to leave? He asked softly. I hesitated. The balloons bobbed against my back. The cake seemed to glare. Then I shook my head. Not yet. He relaxed slightly. Okay. I lifted my glass of water and sipped. The coolness helped. I looked around. The staff had retreated to the edges, chatting quietly among themselves. The other diners were returning to their meals, offering polite smiles in my direction. Taking a breath of courage, I stood. The balloons tugged at the sash, but I refused to let that stop me. I turned to address the room. The spotlight blinked on again and heads turned. I cleared my throat. Thank you all, I began, voice louder than I expected. Thank you for the cake, the song, and the balloons. I paused, eyeing the violinist who gave me an encouraging nod. But tonight isn't just about turning 30. It's about new beginnings. I turned toward Michael. Especially new beginnings with someone special. My heart slammed as a ripple of applause spread. Michael's eyes softened and he stood, coming to my side. Together we gave each other a quick, grateful smile. I took another breath. I'd like to finish dinner in peace, I said, glancing toward the cake. And maybe share this with the man who's been here to help me through it. I reached for the cake knife and cut a small slice, offering it to Michael. He accepted, it laughing softly. Only if you promise no more surprises, he teased. I laughed too, the tension draining. No more surprises, I agreed. We sat back down, the sash still in place and balloons bobbing behind me. But the moment had shifted. What felt like public embarrassment before now felt oddly triumphant. I existed in that crowded room, owning my mistakes and my new choices. I took a bite of cake, rich and sweet, and met Michael's eyes. Thank you, I whispered. He smiled. Thank you for being you. And with that, I realized that sometimes the most embarrassing moments, felt so deeply, can become the most memorable steps toward who you're meant to be. Chapter 6. Secrets Unveiled. I arrive at the gallery the next morning feeling a mix of excitement and dread. The sun is bright, but my stomach is twisted in knots after last night's public spectacle. I clutch my tote bag. Inside are the silver, pen charm and the little matcha bowl Serena gave me, and push open the heavy glass door. Inside, the air is cool and the lights are soft. I step past the reception desk and head toward Michael's office at the back. I'm 3 steps from the doctor when I hear raised voices. I freeze. Through the frosted glass panel, I can make out Michael's silhouette pacing, and then the unmistakable flash of a camera. I tap lightly on the door frame. Michael? I whisper. He spins around, concern flickering across his face. Before he can answer, the office door bursts open and 2 reporters in dark coats flood inside, cameras clicking. Mr. Blake, were you aware the new collection is forged? One reporter demands, voice sharp. How many fakes were sold? Michael raises his hands, trying to calm them. Please, this is private. He glances at me. Marissa, hide in the supply closet. I practically dive into a small room stacked with empty frames and packing materials. The door clicks shut behind me. Through the narrow vent, I hear Michael's calm voice. He tells the reporters he's investigating how the pieces slipped through. Then there's a sudden crash of footsteps. In the hallway outside, my heart thunders. I press my back flat against the closet wall and listen. The reporters follow Michael's assistant out into the corridor, still shouting questions. I peek through the vent. Michael slips out of his office, glances around, and strides toward me. He slips a finger to his lips in a shh gesture and opens the closet door. Quick, he says softly. He takes my hand and leads me down a narrow service corridor lined with storage cupboards and old packing crates. My heels click on the concrete floor as we hurry along. He pauses at a metal door marked Staff Only. He punches a code on the keypad, one I recognize from peeling off a corner of the sticky note on his desk yesterday. The door opens with a soft hiss. On the other side is a small courtyard bathed in morning light. A few potted ferns line the walls, and a single bench sits under a climbing jasmine vine. I inhale the sweet, flower-scented air. Michael pulls me behind a pillar as a group of reporters peers through the studio windows only 20 feet away. They're everywhere, he murmurs, watching them grip microphones and cameras. I need to get you out of here. I squeeze his hand. Where can we go? He points to a side gate. Through there. My aunt's studio, Maplewood Lodge is 5 minutes away. It's private. We can talk there. He leads me to a rusty, metal gate partially hidden by ivy. It opens onto a narrow alley. We slip through and push the gate closed quietly behind us. The alley curves around to the street, where Michael hails a taxi. The driver barely glances at us as we jump in. The cab winds through Brighton's busy streets, past the seafront promenade crowded with early morning joggers. My mind races, fakes, scandals, police. What did Michael know? Why didn't anyone catch the forgeries before they sold for thousands of dollars? When the taxi stops in front of a whitewashed manor half hidden by tall hedges, Michael pays the us driver and helps me out. We climb a few stone steps to a carved oak door set with stained glass panels. The door swings open, and I'm greeted by the scent of pine and oil paint. Inside, the hallway is lined with large canvas prints and unfinished sculptures. High beams let in slanted sunlight. An old grandfather clock ticks softly in the corner. Michael guides me into a bright room at the back, his aunt's former painting studio. Easels hold canvases both blank and half-painted, and paintbrushes sit in jars of murky water on a long table. He closes the door, locking it with a heavy key. Then he draws the curtains against the bright light. The room falls into a calm, muted glow. He turns to me, his face grave. "Marissa, I'm so sorry you had to get dragged into this," he says. "I thought I was ready to handle the scandal myself, but the police, they questioned me all night about my knowledge of the forgeries." I pull my coat tighter around me. "Michael, I'm here now. We'll figure this out together." He runs a hand through his hair, looking weary. "These paintings, 20 in total, were passed off as works by a famous artist. I vetted them, but somehow a forger replaced the signatures with high-quality prints." He shakes his head. "I feel responsible." I step closer and place a hand on his arm. "You believed in their authenticity. You wanted the exhibition to succeed. This wasn't your fault." He looks at me, vulnerability in his eyes. I keep thinking, if I'd inspected them more closely, none of this would have happened. I meet his gaze evenly. "We'll fix it. First, we need to alert the gallery board and the buyers, and then we'll find the forger. But you need support. You shouldn't face this alone." He nods slowly. The tension in his shoulders eases. He takes a deep breath. "Thank you, Marissa. I don't know what I would do without you." I smile gently. "You won't have to find out." He steps forward and tucks a loose strand of hair behind my ear. "Let's get some tea," he says, gesturing toward a small kettle on a wooden sideboard. He pours 2 mugs and hands me one, the warmth spreading through my fingers. We sit together on a low couch surrounded by easels. Outside, the wind rustles the jasmine and a single bird trills. For the first time since this crisis began, I feel calm. Michael leans back, cradling his tea. "We'll handle the press when it comes," he says. "But for now, here in this studio, it's just us, and a chance to plan our next steps." I sip my tea and nod. "Maplewood Lodge is safe," I say, gazing around the cozy space. "And I'm here, your friend, your partner in this." He smiles softly, relief shining in his eyes. "Thank you." We sit in companionable silence, the only sound the ticking clock and our quiet breaths. Outside, secrets may be unraveling, but here, in this hidden studio, trust and resolve bloom like the jasmine in the courtyard. Chapter 7. Country Retreat. The sky is a wash of pale gray when I wake. Through the wide studio windows at Maplewood Lodge, I see rain pattering on the slate roof and mist drifting among the oak trees. I stretch and sit up on the edge of the simple daybed, fingers brushing over the soft wool blanket. My head still feels heavy from yesterday's excitement and today's early rush, but a sleepy comfort settles around me. I slip out of bed and pull on my cozy cardigan and worn jeans. In the corner, an old enamel kettle sits on a small wood-burning stove. I light the fire and fill the kettle at the sink, listening to the water hiss as it heats. The scented steam of peppermint tea fills the air when I pour it into a chipped china mug, one of Michael's aunt's favorites. I carry the tea into the main studio, where half-finished canvases lean against the walls and a pair of paint-splattered boots sits by the door. Michael is already awake, pacing near the big drafting table. He's dressed in a flannel shirt and corduroy trousers, his dark hair damp from the rain. "Morning," I say softly, handing him the mug. The warm porcelain feels comforting in my hand. He takes it gratefully. "I was just about to make you breakfast," he says, gesturing toward the kitchen nook. "Hope you like cottage pie." I smile. "That sounds perfect." In the cozy nook, he's already peeling potatoes and chopping carrots on a battered wooden board. A cast-iron skillet sizzles gently on the stove. I pull out the mixing bowl and mash the potatoes, adding a knob of butter and a splash of cream until the mixture is fluffy. Michael seasons the meat and vegetable filling with rosemary, thyme, and salt. We fill the skillet, spooning the creamy potatoes on top and smoothing them into neat swirls. I slide the dish into the oven, and the cottage pie begins to bake, its rich fragrance mingling with the wood smoke drifting in from the stove. While it cooks, Michael gives me a quick tour of the house. Maplewood Lodge was his grandmother's dream, part studio, part sanctuary for artists. Upstairs are small bedrooms, each painted in pastel hues, and a loft where she kept her journals and sketchbooks. Downstairs, the main hall is paneled in oiled pine, lit by lanterns that hang from wrought iron hooks. It's peaceful, I say, breathing in the scent of old wood and charcoal. I can see why she loved it here. Michael nods, eyes distant. She wrote about the way the light changes in the dawn mist, how the hills look like watercolor when it rains. He pauses. I haven't felt this calm in years. I rest a hand on his arm. We both needed this. We return to the kitchen just as a golden crust forms on the cottage pie. Michael opens the oven door and the steam rises in a savory swirl. He carries 2 plates and we settle at the small table by the window, plates warm against our palms. Outside, the rain has softened to a gentle drizzle. We eat in companionable silence, punctuated only by the occasional and pass the peas. I savor each bite, comfort food on a comfort day, and feel my spirits lift. After lunch, the rain stops. Michael fetches 2 wellies from the hall closet and beckons me outside. We step onto the flagstone patio, where puddles reflect the gray sky. The air is fresh, earthy, and alive with the scent of damp leaves. Want to stretch your legs? He asks. I nod. We wander down a wooded path behind the house. Ancient oaks arch overhead, their branches dripping with raindrops. Ferns and moss carpet the forest floor. Here and there, wild mushrooms cluster at the base of tree trunks. Michael points out different species: chanterelles, oyster mushrooms, his voice animated with discovery. We come to a small clearing where the ground slopes down to a stream. Smooth stones form a natural stepping path across the water. I hop from one to the next, my boots sinking slightly in the soft earth. On the far bank, a wooden bench overlooks the flowing water. Michael sits, first tucking his legs under him. I settle beside him, listening to the gentle rush of the stream. For a long moment, we say nothing. Finally, I break the silence. You mentioned yesterday that your interim position here is ending. My voice sounds timid in the quiet woods. He runs a hand through his damp hair. Yes, the gallery decided they need a permanent curator, and Maplewood's just a temporary hideout. I knew I'd have to leave soon. He sighs. I'm sorry I didn't mention it before. I turn to him. You didn't have to apologize. You need to do what's best for you, just like I'm finding what's best for me. His gaze meets mine, steady and sincere. That means a lot. A light breeze stirs autumn leaves. I rest my head on his shoulder. Promise me one thing? He shifts so our hands entwine. Anything. Promise me we'll stay in touch after I go back home. He smiles and nods. I promise. We walk back along the path hand in hand, the afternoon clouds breaking to reveal a hint of blue sky. Back at the lodge, Michael shows me his makeshift studio space, a small corner with a blank canvas and a tray of acrylics. I want you to try painting, he says. He dips a brush into a pool of golden ochre and hands it to me. Just a few strokes. I hesitate, then press the brush lightly to the canvas. The bristles spread the paint in a rough line. A second stroke, this time a muted green. The colors mingle. I feel a spark of delight at creating something new. Michael watches, me eyes bright. See? You're a natural. I laugh softly, heart fluttering. Maybe I am. He steps closer and takes my hand, brushing paint across my fingers. Let's clean up before dinner, he says. Later, we sit by the stove with mugs of hot cocoa, marshmallows, melting on top, and roast chestnuts in the embers. Outside, dusk settles, and the hills beyond the lodge glow in the last light. I lean against Michael's shoulder. All day we shared small tasks, cooking, walking, painting. Each moment felt simple, honest, and real. In this country retreat, away from the city's noise and my 2 lists of grand ambitions, I discovered something I didn't know I needed. A place to just be, and someone to share it with. As I close my eyes against the warmth of the evening, I realize that for the first time in a long while, everything feels right. Chapter 8. Unexpected Guest. The crackle of embers is the only sound as Michael and I settle by the wood stove, sipping the last of our hot cocoa. Outside, night has fallen, and rain taps gently at the window panes. I lean back against the velvet armchair, feeling the warmth spread through my chest, when Michael's phone buzzes on the small side table. He glances at the screen, frowns, then sighs. It's Liam, he says quietly. Liam is his younger sister, Emma's, name for her 8-year-old son. Emma's car broke down. She needs me to pick him up from his after-school club. I sit up. She can't get him herself? He shakes his head. No cell signal where she is. Their car, well, it's really stuck. He rubs his forehead. Can you stay here tonight? I need to go into Brighton to collect him. My heart flips. I've never met Liam, but I know Michael adores his nephew. Of course, I say. I'll be here when you get back. He offers a grateful smile, grabs his coat, and steps into the hallway. I hear the front door click shut, and suddenly the house is quiet. Only the dying embers and my own thoughts. I wrap my shawl tighter around my shoulders and wander through the gallery of half-finished canvases, each one bathed in the soft glow of the lanterns. Maplewood Lodge feels like a cocoon, but now it's just me. I glance at my watch. It's 9:30. Emma's club finishes at 5, so Michael will be gone at least an hour. I should sleep, but I'm too curious and a little bit anxious. I return to the living room and stir the embers before sliding a chestnut into the flames. The shell cracks and curls back, releasing its sweet, nutty aroma. The minutes tick by. I notice a small wooden door I hadn't explored before. It's labeled utility room and sits beside the kitchen. On impulse, I open it. Inside are shelves of cleaning supplies, gardening tools, and a stack of board games, chess, checkers, and story cubes. Underneath, a rolled-up beanbag and a patchwork quilt in bright primary colors. I smile, realizing this is where Liam must sit when he visits. I pick up the quilt and unfold it on the floor in front of the stove. Its squares depict sunflowers, hedgehogs, and moon phases. Simple patterns stitched with love. It feels like an invitation. I curl up on the quilt, chestnut in hand, and let my eyes drift closed. Footsteps approach, hurried and slightly uneven. I sit up as the front door opens and Michael steps in, dripping wet and holding a small, wide-eyed boy by the hand. "Liam, this is Marisa," Michael says softly. "Liam. Marisa helped me plan the exhibition, and she's going to keep you company while I sort out Mum's car." The boy looks at me shyly. He has Michael's dark hair and Emma's bright green eyes. He's clutching a small backpack and wearing a dinosaur print raincoat. "Hi," he says in a small voice. "Hey there," I reply, standing and crouching to his level. "I'm Marisa. Do you like cocoa?" He nods. "I tried some at Mum's house. It was good. Perfect," I say, taking his hand. "Let's go warm up by the stove." I move the quilt closer and pat the spot beside me. He slides in and perches on the edge, as if he's not sure the quilt will hold him. I scoop another handful of chestnuts and toss them onto the glowing coals. They pop and crack, and steam rises in the lantern light. I peel one open and offer it to Liam. He takes it carefully and tastes it. His face lights up. "That's delicious," I laugh softly. Chestnuts are magic little fruits. I grab the Story Cubes box from the utility shelf and shake it. "Want to play a game while we wait for Mum's car?" His eyes brighten. "How do you play?" I empty the 9 dice onto the quilt. Each die face has a simple picture: a star, a key, a dragon, a tree, and so on. We roll the dice and tell a story using all the pictures, I explain. I'll go first. I roll dragon, key, moon, boat, cat, flower, mountain, clock, house. I hold up each face in turn and weave a tale. Once upon a time, a brave dragon found a silver key beneath the full moon. He sailed across the sea in a tiny boat with his cat companion, a curious cat who could make flowers bloom with a purr. They climbed a crystal mountain, where an ancient clock ticked the hours until they reached a hidden house. I spin the story to a happy ending with the dragon returning home and the cat curled on a windowsill. Liam giggles, then takes the dice and rolls his own set. Castle, knight, fish, rainbow, cave, sun, book, shoe, hand. He crafts a short but imaginative tale of a knight chasing a rainbow-scaled fish into a cave, where he finds a magical book that fits like a shoe and leads him by the hand to the land of the sun. When he finishes, he claps. "Your turn again! We play 2 more rounds, our voices weaving playful sagas as the fire dies down. Outside, the rain has eased to a soft patter. "I think Mum's car is coming," Michael calls from the hallway. I lift my head as he opens the door, followed by Emma, drenched but smiling. She scoops Liam into a hug. "Thank you for looking after him," she says to me, brushing a strand of wet hair from his forehead. "It was fun," Liam murmurs. Michael kneels and looks up at me. "Marissa, thank you." His eyes are kind but tired. I know it's short notice. I stand and brush lint from my jeans. "Anytime," I say. Then I pause. His gaze holds mine, and I realize how much this family means to him, and now somehow to me. He offers me a half smile. Could you stay one more night? I have to finalize the buyer list in the morning, and I'd feel better knowing Liam and I aren't bothering you." I glance at Liam, who's exploring the corner where I found the board games. Think of the quilt, the chestnuts, the stories we shared. My heart warms. "I'd love to." He exhales in relief and stands. "Thank you." He wraps his arm around Emma's shoulders, and together they guide Liam toward the guest room down the hall. I return to the living room and fold up the quilt, stacking the story cubes back on the shelf. As I tuck away the last chestnut into my pocket, I realize I'm no longer an outsider in Michael's world. I'm part of something unexpected, and it feels like home. Chapter 9. Unmet Wishes. I wake before dawn, stirred by the faint patter of rain against the window pane. The room is dim, lit only by a single bedside lamp. I lie still for a moment, listening to the quiet rhythm of water on glass. Last night's laughter with Liam and the warmth of Michael's company still linger in my mind. Yet I feel strangely restless, as if I half expect the world to fall apart the moment I move. I swing my legs over the side of the bed and stand, carefully stepping around the small suitcase tucked in the corner. My shoes from yesterday sit neatly by the door. Navy flats that feel comfortable, almost like slippers. I pull on a soft sweater and jeans and slip into the flats. Then I pad across the wooden floor to the window. Outside, the garden is slick with rain. Pale gray fog drifts among the trees, blurring the edges of the path. The jasmine vine hangs, heavy with drops, and the old stone fountain in the courtyard trickles quietly. I wrap my arms around myself, studying the scene. I wanted countless things for today: a fresh start at home, a long talk with Michael, maybe even a promise of more than friendship. But none of those wishes have happened yet. I turn away from the window and head down the hall toward the kitchen. The latch on the door clicks softly, and I step inside. The kettle waits on the stove. I fill it and turn on the heat, taking a moment to run my fingers over the chipped green bowl my mother gave me. That bowl has seen many mornings. It's meant to remind me that each day can begin clean, even after chaos. While the water heats, I open the small refrigerator. Inside, I find leftover cottage pie and a jar of lemon curd. I spoon a bit of curd into the bowl. When the kettle whistles, I pour hot water over the curd and stir. The bowl glows in my hands, and the sweet steam rises in soft spirals. I carry the bowl into the main studio, where Michael is already at work. He stands at the drafting table, pencil in hand, sketching layouts for the upcoming exhibition's catalog. His brow is furrowed, and beads of sweat gather at his hairline, even though the room is cool. "Morning," I say, setting the bowl down gently. "Tea?" Michael looks up and offers a tired smile. "Thank you," he says, accepting the bowl. He lifts it carefully, as though it holds something fragile. I sit on a nearby stool, watching him take a slow sip. The steam curls around his face. "It's good," he murmurs. "Just what I needed." I shrug, trying to keep my voice light. "I thought you might like something sweet." I glance at his drawings. "How's the plan coming?" He sighs and sets the bowl aside. "I'm almost done. Then I need to contact the buyers, let them know about the forgeries, and reassure them the gallery will make it right." He runs a hand through his damp hair. "It's a lot to fix." I nod, leaning forward. "You don't have to do it alone. I'm here, remember." He pauses, pencil hovering over paper. Then he shakes his head. "I know," he says, "but there are some calls I need to make on my own. Would you mind giving me a few hours?" His voice is careful, as if he's afraid of disappointing me. I swallow the lump in my throat. "Of course," I say, forcing a smile. "Take all the time you need." He gives me a grateful look and returns to his sketching. I wipe my hands on a towel and stand. There is a tall easel in the corner, covered by a cloth. A sudden impulse strikes me. I step over and pull the cloth away, revealing a blank canvas. A set of acrylics sits on a small table beside it. I pick up a brush and squeeze out a line of deep blue paint. The bristles feel soft against the canvas. I drag the brush in a gentle arc. Then I dab a bright yellow next to it. The colors bleed together. I swirl the brush, creating a new shade of green. I work slowly, almost mindlessly. Blue, yellow, red, orange, until the canvas is alive with swaths of color. No shapes, no clear image, just emotion. My chest tightens with relief at the simplicity of it. No words, no lists, just paint. Half an hour later, I step back and survey my work. It's messy and uneven, but it feels honest. I realize I painted exactly what I needed. A burst of color for the wishes that haven't come true yet. Footsteps echo down the hallway. I turn to see Michael standing in the doorway, arms crossed. He studies the canvas, eyes softening. "It's beautiful," he says quietly. Then he nods, as if making a decision. I'm done with the catalog layout. Shall we call the buyers together? I meet his gaze and smile. Yes, I say. Let's do it. We leave the studio side by side, the painting glowing behind us. Down in the main gallery, we find the phone list on his desk. As we dial, I feel a calm determination settle in my chest. The calls go one by one. Hello, this is Michael Blake from the Brightway Gallery. I'm calling with an update. Each voice on the other end listens, asks questions, and accepts his assurances. Midday, the list is complete. Michael leans back in his chair, exhaustion and relief mingling on his face. I hand him the green bowl of lemon curd tea. He sips and closes his eyes in gratitude. I couldn't have done this without you, he murmurs. I sit beside him. You didn't have to, I remind him. You chose to. He turns to me, serious now. Marisa, I have one more wish. He takes a deep breath. I wish you would stay longer than tonight. My heart flutters. I think of home, of my apartment and my desk, of my lists waiting for me. But I also think of this canvas, of the bright colors I painted, and of Michael's steady hand on the phone. In this moment, I know which wish matters more. I smile and reach for his hand. I wish that too. And in the quiet gallery, among the forgeries and the honest strokes of my paint, I realize that sometimes unmet wishes simply mean there's a better wish waiting to come true. Chapter 10. New Beginnings. The morning sun filters through the tall windows of Maplewood Lodge, painting the studio floor in soft gold. I wake to the gentle hum of birds beyond the glass and stretch beneath the linen sheets. Last night's decision, staying here, choosing the unexpected, feels as real as the wood beneath my fingertips. I slip out of bed and pad across the room, careful not to wake the two spare beds where Liam and, undoubtedly, Claire will come to visit with more hot chocolate and laughter. But this morning is just mine, and the house welcomes me with quiet promise. In the kitchen nook, the kettle whistles on the stove. I pour water into the chipped green bowl from my mother, filling it with chamomile tea. Steam curls upward, fragrant and calming. I carry the bowl into the main studio, where my painting from yesterday stands on its easel. A riot of blues, yellows, and reds. It looks different in the morning light, hopeful rather than frantic. Michael enters, dressed in a crisp white shirt and dark trousers. He carries 2 mugs, coffee for him, hot chocolate for me, and sets them on the work table. "Good morning," he says, his eyes bright. "Good morning," I echo, taking a sip of my chocolate. The sweetness feels like a gift. He gestures toward the canvas. "It's beautiful. You've captured something real." I trace a fingertip along a curved stroke of green. "I captured me, finally." He smiles, then checks his watch. "We should head back to Brighton soon." The gallery reopens this afternoon, and I want to be there when they unveil the corrected catalog. I don't want any surprises this time. I nod. "Let's go." We pack our things, my quilted scarf, the small wooden box of paintbrushes I've borrowed, and the pen charm necklace tucked safely in my pocket. On the doorstep, Liam peeks out, rubbing sleep from his eyes in a dinosaur print robe. He waves a sleepy goodbye. "Bye, Marisa." "See you soon," I call, and he scampers back inside. The taxi ride to Brighton is bright with clear skies and sea-scented air. We pass the promenade where joggers wear shorts despite the cool breeze, and tourists queue for morning fish and chips. I press my forehead against the window, watching Spindrift leap over the pier railings. At the gallery, a small crowd has gathered behind velvet ropes. Photographers mill about, but their cameras are pointed not at me this time, only at the new catalog display in the front window. Together, Michael and I walk past the ropes into the foyer. He holds the corrected catalog. Its cover now proudly displays a bold, Brightway Gallery logo without any hint of scandal. Inside, the curator's assistant shakes Michael's hand. "Excellent work. The buyers are pleased with the transparency and prompt updates." She smiles warmly. Michael nods, relief shining in his eyes. He turns to me and sweeps an arm around my shoulders. Thank you, he murmurs. I lean into him. You did this, I whisper back. He presses a kiss to my temple. We did this. A few minutes later, the doors open and guests filter in for the afternoon preview. Paintings are displayed in neat rows, each labeled clearly. I study them, real works by local artists, each one honest in its brushstrokes. I feel pride knowing the gallery has recovered. At the end of the line, my own abstract sits under a soft spotlight. A small plaque reads, Untitled, courtesy of Marissa Cole. I catch my reflection in the glass. Myself in a simple gray blouse, hair loose around my shoulders, eyes bright. The real me, no lists, no mismatched shoes, just me. A group of visitors pauses before my canvas. I love how the colors blend, one woman says. It feels like sunrise. Another man nods. It captures the moment between rain and sun. Very evocative. I feel a thrill. Michael squeezes my hand and leans close. That's exactly what you painted. I smile, warmth spreading through me. New beginnings. Later, as the crowd thins, Michael and I step outside into the fading light. The gallery lights glow behind us, and in front lies the bustling street. He turns to me, unhurried. What happens next? Your book, your travels, whatever your old list said. When will you chase those dreams? I look up at the evening sky, streaked with lavender and rose. For the first time, I don't have an answer prepared. My old ambitions feel different now, aligned with this new reality. I rest my hand on Michael's chest. I think I'll start with one dream, staying here with you and seeing where this path leads. He smiles and kisses my hand. I'd like that. We stand together under the gallery awning, the sea breeze whispering around us. Behind us, the corrected catalog glints in the window, and my painting glows under its spotlight. Ahead lies every possibility, unwritten, colorful, and entirely ours to paint. And with that, I step forward into my new beginning. Great work today. Every moment you spend practicing brings you closer to mastering your English listening and speaking skills. Remember, progress comes with patience and consistency. If this story inspired you or helped you in your learning journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Easy English Spark channel for more lessons and stories. Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep believing in your growth. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and keep shining.